Hi everybody, Raging back with another Mechabellum video. Real quick before the video starts, we just recently passed 500 subscribers. You guys are insane. Thanks so much for the love and support. It really means so much. Now let's get into it. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some asym aggro. I've seen people say that asym aggro is one of the most difficult positions in Mechabellum to play. And I tend to agree with them because it really does come down to the timing of when the units come together at the end. And that can be difficult to anticipate sometimes. So my opponent, V, is ranked 1850 MMR. I'm a little over 2000 MMR in this game. He's gone with the speed spec, with the sledgehammers, and the crawlers. So he's going to be chasing down our tower here. I've gone with the rhino specs. We'll have the big man on round 4. And my starting pack is stormcallers and crawlers. And I've been experimenting a little bit more with the stormcallers. I've been putting them in an aggro position. Been working pretty well, actually. But experimentation continues, regardless. I do set them up that way in this game. So we're both deciding which additional units we'd like to take here. And so in this asym aggro position, he'll be running at this tower, and we'll be running at this tower. Now, obviously, I don't know how he's setting up, so it just happens to turn this way. Now, he does have the benefit of the speed spec, which will get his units closer to our tower sooner than our units, since he has the extra 3 movement speed. We do put some units here in the center, so we will pull actually half his army here to the center, and this arc light will be able to take out a couple packs of crawlers. He's also gone with the arc lights, wants to take out our crawlers. And I've sort of just set up some crawlers here in the front and one behind. So here we go. Like I said, we pulled some units to the center, so we are able to take out quite a few of these crawlers. And we're on the tower first, so we'll actually take out all of those crawlers. And now our tower goes down, so he's able to take out all of our crawlers. And he still does have like a pack alive here, which is pretty good for him since it distracts quite a bit. And it takes out Stormcaller. But this is actually pretty even so far, this round. We do have some big shots coming off with the Stormcallers. But the speed spec on the tanks actually gets him close enough to start shooting quicker. And he lives with 1 sledgehammer. So pretty even. Extended range Stormcallers round 2 doesn't look good for me since he's the speed spec, and that'll just make my missiles stay in the air longer, so I'm not going to take that. The redeployment is what sticks out to me most. Opponent goes with Rhino Assault, so he's going to try and take our tower quicker than we can take his tower. I like the redeployment when I'm playing asym aggro because I think it's really important to be able to have the freedom to move the units. Since they're all going to be running at this tower, the freedom to move them to where you really need them is actually a lot more important in this position than even like normal aggro positions. Because let's say, well, I mean, obviously you can see he levels his tower. I'm also going to be leveling the hell out of this tower. So I can stick Stormcallers like behind my tower. And while these units are stuck shooting my tower, I could just sort of take pot shots with Stormcallers. So I do take the redeployment because I just want to see like what he's going to do on this turn. And then maybe I'll like redeploy some Stormcallers back here. I do actually redeploy this turn Stormcallers closer to his tower just to get shooting it sooner, a little bit sooner. And also not too far ahead to the point where like he could missile out. Like say he puts a missile, it would like hit my Stormcallers. So he is Rhino Assaulting here. And like I said, I'm just sort of going to wait a little bit just to see what he does. So I take some crawlers. Just put some late arriving crawlers here. And one in the center. Okay, so let's see how round 2 goes. He will get our tower quicker than us with the Rhino. And he's put this arc light behind his tower to kill our crawlers. That's a smart idea. And now that he's taken our tower, that arc light will take out the rest of our crawlers. So this arc light alone is a beast. That is a really good play. And the way he positioned it behind the tower is it just walks into the tower without moving. And that was a very effective play for him. So he smokes us this round. We're totally dead in the water, and all his units were basically alive. So take full damage. Not ideal. Round 3, Sandworm looks pretty good since it's quick and big. But the Sabertooth also looks good, and so do the Fangs as defenders. So these are all really good options. Typhoons are really good at clearing chaff. That catches my eye. Because at the end, so I do grab Typhoons. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'd grabbed the Sabertooths. Since they have really high DPS, they'd be able to blast down this tower pretty quickly. But when the turn happens, so his units are running here, my units are running here, and then at the end, we're sort of coming together diagonally. And any crawlers that he'll have alive at the end, I would like the Typhoons to be able to clear pretty quickly. So that is the idea behind grabbing Typhoons. However, in hindsight, I wish I'd grabbed the Sabertooths. Especially because he goes with Sandworm, and Typhoons suck against Sandworm, and Sabertooths are awesome against Sandworm. I redeploy the Stormcallers down here, and level the tower to 3. I also oil. So now all of his units will be slowed, stuck in the oil, and hopefully our Stormcallers will be able to get some pot shots off on all of his guys while they're moving through it. Opponent takes a Marksman on this round. And another Marksman, so he wants to shoot our tower with a little extra DPS. Funny enough, I actually grabbed myself a Marksman for the same reason. And not another one, though. I just get some more Crawlers, and I'm going to have them arrive even later than the rest. Put them here. So let's see how well this Stormcaller does, as well as these Typhoons. And remember, this Arclight is still here, stuck, and killing our chaff. So I should do something about that. So you can see we're taking out a few crawlers with these Stormcallers. And we're going to take out some more here. So this is why I put the Stormcallers here, is this does take a little while to blast down for him. And we have the benefit of getting some shots here. So we do get the tower first as well, but none of our Stormcaller shots land on the Sandworm. So that will be really tough to take out at the end here. And like I said, the units now come together at the end. And the idea of the Typhoons was to be clearing chaff, but there's actually no chaff left. So you can see if I had Sabertooths here, we'd be getting these tanks dead a lot quicker. But I made a little mistake and went with Typhoons. And we'll pay the price because Sandworm will eat them alive. We do get that other tower, but I don't think we can clear this guy. We almost do, because of the Marksman, but now they're in there. Okay, so we lose round 1, 2, and 3. But now we have the big Rhino. And so Underground Threat usually is really good, but in asym aggro with the level towers and all this, it's actually not very good. You know what? It's actually kind of good for my opponent to take, since he could put Underground Threat here and eat these Stormcallers. So it's kind of good for him. But I skip, since there's really nothing that stands out. His Arclight will just kill mine. All these Underground Threat crawlers. I stick the Rhino there to distract the Sandworm. I don't want the Sandworm to get onto this tower as quickly as it has been. And if the Sandworm can't get here, these units are not very good at killing high-level towers, which this one is now level 3. He jabs our Stormcallers and Typhoon. Decent play. I also leveled the Stormcaller, wanted higher DPS to be able to take out his tower. This tower is now level 4, so I've leveled that every single turn. I've also redeployed the center Arclight down here to the bottom. Since most of the units that have been running in here are crawlers, the Stormcallers are taking a little too long, and so I want the Arclight to kill them, and then I want the Stormcallers to be shooting his main guys. He goes with a Steel Ball here on my flank to try and take down the tower sooner, since they have the ability to have exponentially increasing damage. And then I take my favorite unit in an asym aggro position, the Phoenix. Because it's fast, and it loops well, so I could always beacon them as well, and then take this tower after we finish this one. And I run Charge Shot, which can increase the attack on this tower. So I really enjoy the Phoenix. If people ever find themselves in an asym aggro position, Phoenix is a very good one to take. He oils the center to slow our units as they move through there as well. Also takes another marksman and puts it on the flank. So that's the whole turn here. I've grabbed some Phoenix, and I redeployed the Arclight down here. And I put my free Rhino here to distract his Sandworm. So let's see how round 4 goes. I think the Steel Balls here are a bit of a misplay, since he could see that I had the Storm Collars. Or the Steel Balls. Now the Phoenixes are on that tower pretty quickly. And they do have a lot better DPS compared to what we had before. So we will get it pretty quickly. We do defend the Steel Ball push here from my opponent. And you can see that the addition of the Phoenixes here is pretty good. Now we can get through these Sledgehammers quicker. And we can fly right over the oil, luckily, that he just put this turn. And try to get to his other tower. And because we delayed the Sandworm so long, this tower still hasn't gone down. And now this tower's down, so now the Stormcaller shots are actually connecting on the Sandworm. And as long as we can take out these 2 marksmen, he has no upshoot. And we'll win the round. Which we do, get the marksman. Okay, so we win the round. Once we finish off the Sandworm. So we finally win a round. Alright, so Fangs are offered again. Melting Point, Fire Badgers, and Sabertooth. Again, the Sabertooth sort of sticks out to me here, but I already added the Phoenixes. And so I did think about Sabertooth. It's pretty good at killing Sandworms. But I actually don't really need it anymore, right? Opponent takes the Melting Point and wants to continue the idea that he went with on the last round with the Steel Balls, but wants to use the Melting Point now since he thinks it'll be a little more reliable at killing the tower. I take the level 4 Fangs and stick them behind my enemy's tower for further defense. Which, if you are offered level 4 Fangs, just take them. They're really good. And then, if you take them, give them range. Which I do. This is a lot of DPS. Level 4 Fangs and 3 packs. This is going to defend really super well. I also add some Fangs over here in case he decides to like flank us. Do like a Phoenix flank or something, right? That would actually work because I don't have any units that turn around. So, put some Fangs over here. Also move since I don't really need the Stormcallers there, since I have the Fangs, I move the Stormcallers back over here. To help assist with taking the tower, I do take Charge Shot on Phoenix. And so he's really added just this Melter mostly. But it's distracted by my Center Crawler still. He should have like missiled those or something. And actually it's a disaster because the Melting Point is turning the wrong way now. And Charge Shot is just completely annihilated that tower now. And I have lots of Phoenixes. And I still have all of these Fangs, which, like I said, have really high DPS. And they're just mulching his units here, who also can't take my level 4 tower. It's Melting Point's dead. So this is a very decisive round now. The Fangs were a great choice, as well as the Charge Shot Phoenix. And he went with Replicate on the Sandworm that turn. I guess because I added the Rhino, he thought that it would be popping up and down more. And so he wanted to make more little baby larvas. So round 6, something that looks good for my opponent is the Barrier. Yep, since he has the Melting Point. Also Mustang production. So in these asym aggro positions, the ability to... It does take longer for our units to like meet each other than in other positions. And so if he sticks like the Mustang production on the Sandworm, it's actually pretty good because it would make quite a few of them. That's my thought at least. But he really doesn't have enough health, and honestly, this Melting Point isn't very good. So I think the Barrier is a mistake. I think he should sell that Melting Point and get, like... He's beaconing so that he's not distracted by the crawlers. But I think he doesn't... I think he needs Mustangs. So see how I have all these units behind? I think if he puts Mustangs behind my tower, he'll probably kill a lot of my guys. We'll do it after the game. So he's going to flank us with the Rhino. Assault, it's not going to work super well since we do... The Phoenixes will probably turn. I level the Phoenixes, and I take Launcher Overload on the Stormcallers so that they shoot twice as fast. I do redeploy these Fangs that we're defending, and I actually stick them over here because I saw how well they did last round. I just want them all here to like shoot all his guys. And he adds some Crawlers here, and I go with all of the buttons since I think I can win this turn. And then I just get 3 more packs of Phoenixes since I saw how well they did last turn. So now we have lots of Phoenixes, and I stick one behind his tower here as well. And so that's... And he takes level 4 on this tower. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, like I said, we have the Phoenixes, so we can stop this flank with the Rhino. We also have these Phoenixes with Charge Shot, so we can actually still take that tower. He is connected with the Melter, but this is a lot of Fangs still. And they have really high DPS, so they'll actually take down that barrier off of the melting point. And we're moving towards his tower with the Phoenixes. So he's the speed spec, but we actually have better speed because we have a very mobile army here. And his sort of gets clumped up. It's very, you know, it's tanks. Tanks and crawlers and marksmen, arclights. So this is a pretty decisive win. And the thing that really did him in on those last 3 rounds here is the addition of the Phoenixes. Phoenixes, like I said, they're like the best in asym aggro positions. Now, I think that these games are probably some of the most fun because there's a wide range of choices that you have. You can choose to defend, you can choose not to defend, you can choose to level the tower as high as you'd like, up to 5, you can oil, you can flank, you know, there's all kinds of different ways to play this. And so that is what makes it one of the most difficult positions because of the variation, but also because of the timing. It is difficult to anticipate where units will be later on down the road. And really you have to be able to have the foresight to understand where they will be. We obviously have the better army with the Phoenixes. Like I said, the Phoenix is sort of just my go-to in these asym aggro positions since I do run Charge Shot and they're very effective at taking out the tower with that. And then at the end, the way that all the units collapse with these speedy units is the crawlers sort of are in front of the Phoenixes, and then the Phoenixes can kind of clear everything off. I did take Launcher Overload as well, so they shoot twice as fast. Decent at taking out tanks and just everything. The main reason I really take Launcher Overload is it increases the movement speed of them by 5, so that they can sort of match the speed of the rest of my guys. The defending Fangs were incredible. This one did 57,000 damage in the game. This one did 50. This one did 18, so I added there last round. The flank of the Rhino and the Crawlers here wasn't that great. So, you know, it's a little interesting. If he hadn't added the Crawlers, my Phoenixes might not have turned the way that they did. And the Rhino might have landed and taken out this chaff and then actually gotten to the tower like maybe he planned. But because he added the Crawlers, the Phoenixes started turned. And like I said a little while ago, I think that what my opponent really needed in this game was Mustangs. You can see we were defending with a lot of units and he wasn't really doing that. So let's take over his side of the board and see if we can somehow stop what I am doing there. I don't think any of these are very good. He put the barrier on this guy last time, but I'm not gonna... I don't think the melting point is good, so let's get rid of the melting point. We'll get Mustangs. We'll get 3 of them. And they'll need range. Let's give them temp range. Okay, we have 450. So he flanked with the Rhino. Let's Goomba Stomp these guys. We're gonna try and clear all this front stuff out, and then the Mustangs should be able to kill the Phoenixes. We'll slow this down so the Goomba Stomp can land. We'll hit these crawlers. They're a little faster. Okay, so we'll put a second wave of missiles. I'm gonna do another missile. Try and take out these typhoons. I'm gonna do a shield for my Mustangs. They're gonna move up pretty quick because the speed spec. And then I think I need a mobile beacon because I think these guys are gonna move up too far, and I want to delay them slightly. All right, let's see how this goes. I wish I'd missiled these center crawlers in hindsight. Okay, so that did slow it down pretty well. Nice, we're taking out the Phoenixes. Yeah, Mustangs for the move, right? This is looking pretty good. Oh, I kind of forgot about all these fangs, though. Okay, we've actually killed all of the Phoenixes here, though. Which really is the problem. And now the Sandworm can take out the fangs? Maybe. It's funny. Stormcallers actually still win it, but that would be enough to live. Only 4 Stormcallers made it through that, so he would live. So the Mustangs were good. So this is what I mean also by, like, you got to get really creative in these games. Your economy is not necessarily as important here. But the thing that's really important is getting units where they need to be. So now, imagine he lives this round. He has these Mustangs here. He can make that play again. I'll need to like flank and distract this. All the while, he can put more Mustangs. Yeah, I think Mustangs were really good here. So the lesson here is if you find yourself in one of these asym aggro games, just get really creative with it and try and identify what the main issue is that you're facing. Like, obviously, the thing that my opponent here was facing was these Phoenixes were, like, incredible in this game. And so the Mustangs, I just added those because I needed a way to take them out. Also, I added 3 more Phoenixes at the end. He wouldn't really be able to anticipate that, but regardless, the Mustangs were still able to clear all of those, so. And you can kind of see I delayed this Mustang a little bit as well on this turn because he's speed spec, right? So they would have moved like a little too far forward, and then like the Stormcallers might have killed them, so kind of had to delay slightly just because of his starting specialist. So that is going to do it for today's video. I hope that everybody enjoyed and maybe was able to learn something. If anybody has any questions, leave a comment. Feel free to ask anything. And if you ever found yourself in one of these positions, tell us how you've played it. Maybe that'll help other people in the comments as well. We just recently passed 500 subscribers on the channel, which is totally bonkers to me. Thank you guys so much. It's absolutely amazing. The love and support that has been flowing in recently is overwhelming at times. I really, really appreciate it. It means so much to me that you guys would want to hang out with some schmuck on the internet who reviews Mechabellum replays. So thank you again. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.